The Katara Towers, the new defining landmark for Doha, the capital of the Emirate of Qatar on the Arabian Gulf. It took 10 years to plan and build these two towers, which also serve as a symbol.
That represents the swords of the national seal of Qatar.
Two luxury hotels comprising 37 floors each are scheduled to open here in just under 12 weeks. Almost 500 suites and hotel rooms, plus 18 restaurants, bars, and cafes. Money is no object. The goal is to outdo all existing mega hotels in the Gulf. With the largest chandelier in the world, 57 meters long. And the world's only multimedia kaleidoscope inside the hotel lobby. There are just 80 days before the opening. An almost impossible task for the German manager of both hotels, Christian Hirth.
The unusual thing about this project is that we have a hard deadline, and there's no escaping it. We have to be ready.
After 10 years of construction, everyone is now feeling the pressure. Work is going on in every direction you look. It's only the main kitchen that's not firing on all cylinders.
We don't have any gas yet. We're currently using a small electric hot plate as our big gas cooker.
There's construction going on everywhere you look. 500 rooms need to undergo approval, and there's no room for any mistakes.
We really do go into the smallest detail and only approve the rooms when everything is absolutely perfect.
2 weeks before the grand opening, and the 1,130 employees from 73 countries finally get to see their uniforms for the first time.
Where am I now? I didn't realize this is an hotel.
Doha on the Arabian Gulf, the capital of the Emirate of Qatar and host of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Around 2.7 million people live here, but only around 300,000 of the population are locals. Gas and oil deposits have made the small emirate rich. Billions have been poured into the Katara Towers, which will house a 5-star and even a 6-star hotel. German hotel manager Christian Hirth and his team have been preparing for the grand opening for 2 years.
A hotel opening is always something special. And what's very special about this opening is that we're inaugurating not one, but 2 hotels, 2 brands, Raffles and Fairmont. But we also have the World Cup, and we need to be ready for that. And that's what's so unusual about this project. There's a hard deadline, and there's no escaping it. We need to be ready by then.
This exciting design was chosen to ensure the greatest possible symbolic power for the Katara Towers, no matter the cost.
The curves of the swords are very, very difficult design to implement. The material that we used is really, really the best material that you can find in the market. It is a very sustainable building, and it's like saving 40% more energy than any other building that is sustained. So here we have also the 5-star GSAS certification for design, and we will get also the 5-star certification for the construction.
While the towers have been handed over to the hotel operators, they're far from finished. Every morning, this is a challenge for Christian Hirth and his management team.
All right, I hope you had a good sleep. 80 days to go. It's getting hot.
We're in a good position, but we have an incredible number of deliveries that still need to come in and enter the country. It's not just us, there are many others too. Our uniforms aren't here yet, and we can't open the hotels without our uniforms.
But the missing uniforms are not the only problem. The kitchens have already been installed in the 18 restaurants of the 2 hotels, but there's still no sign of top-class gastronomy here. The gas connection needs to be installed, and with it, the possibility of actually cooking food and training staff. A real challenge.
We would start by giving everything a deep clean. That will take a few days.
Kitchen and restaurants still require functional testing to make sure that everything works, to make sure that the lighting works, all of the scenarios. And then we start putting the equipment in and start training the staff, of course.
1,130 people will work inside these two luxury hotels. But at the moment, only parts of the entire structure have been handed over by the contractor to the hotel management. Here, in the entrance hall of the six-star hotel, guests are to be greeted by a spectacular attraction.
Hier hinter mir sieht man das kaleidoscope.
Here behind me, you can see the kaleidoscope. We have one of the largest kaleidoscopes in the world here in the lobby at Raffles. It's 40 meters tall. And we have a very large LED high-performance wall, 40 meters above the ground. And all around the kaleidoscope, there are mirrors. And what they project is then basically refracted in the mirrors, like in a kaleidoscope.
But the assembly of the 974 mirrors has been delayed time and again. Here too, all the scaffolding needs to be gone by the time the hotels open. 2 hotels, 1 building. Dirk Haltenhof, who has already managed luxury hotels as a culinary director in Dubai, Hong Kong, and Switzerland, has great respect for this task in Doha.
Of course, the pressure mounts as we draw closer to the grand opening. Then it's the week before and you think, okay, here we go. The first guests are at the door and that's when it all kicks off.
The supply wing for both hotels lies in the basement, connecting the two 220-meter tall towers. Everything that the luxury guests are not supposed to see happens here. In the future, the main kitchen will supply all the restaurants, bars, and cafes. Cooking should have started here a long time ago.
We're waiting for the gas to be turned on. Then we can get all the machinery going. We don't have any gas yet. We're currently using a small electric hot plate as our big gas cooker, but at least we can start cooking. We can already run tests, we can taste food. We can accept deliveries of goods because we need to practice all of that. The coordination is like that of the armed forces. So when what arrives, where, how it's stored, and how it's prepared later on. Inside the big unit here, when it's all ready, we'll be able to produce the bases for soups, sauces for, let's say, 5,000 people at once. So that'll be no problem.
Until then, there is theoretical training for everyone, for thousands of dishes, and using just a small flame, for coming up with at least a few of the luxury snacks that the guests will find in their rooms as part of their welcome packs. The bakery is the only place where it's possible to already work under virtually normal conditions and to test which bread is best.
So we will take out the bread from Vaya. So we are doing the trial.
Nice.
And so this is the blue corn bread.
Nice. Oh, this is the first loaf, right? We've already tried the croissants, but this is the first loaf. Take a look.
Looks nice.
It is. It is.
Sounds nice. Even though we wouldn't eat a hot bread, but this is already nice.
New bakeries are opening up here all the time, introducing sourdough bread, dark rye bread, healthier options, and so on. And moving away from the baguette and towards more healthy eating, with our variety, of course. They expect us to present something in this iconic building. And that's exactly what we're doing with the team that we have here.
The chandelier has finally been installed in the center of the 5-star Fairmont Hotel. It's 57 meters long and consists of 4,800 lights, a world record. But the hotel lobby looks anything but inviting, and an important part is still missing.
Hier in der Mitte wird
a glass dome will be installed here in the middle.
Ein Glasdom installiert.
It weighs 14 tons and will serve as a walk-in patisserie.
Begehbare Patisserie.
Both hotels are scheduled to open in 80 days. And by then, the more than 500 rooms and suites are supposed to be approved as well. Every day, Christian Hirth's team has new rooms to finalize for occupancy. but they will only be approved if they have no defects, none whatsoever.
For example, we see here that there's a mark on the leather. This is a defect that needs to be remedied. And we really do go into the smallest detail and only approve the rooms when everything is absolutely perfect.
Finally, one of the 132 luxury suites at the Raffles Hotel can be furnished today for a trial run. The director is German Bernd Kneier, who is arranging the furniture alongside the head of housekeeping, Marie-Pierre Girardot.
Here we start with the golden tray. Should we put it in the center?
All right, so the golden tray...
I think this should be our centerpiece, right?
We have to be careful because we have the the face towel, the two little face towel for the guests to dry their hands or to use, should be in between the two sinks. For the guests either use the left or the right, it's easy. Then the vases and the amenity tray with all the dry amenity will go on the second table.
There's a second table coming, right?
Yes, bigger than this
the one with the,
all in marble.
With the brass centerpiece is for towel warming, and there's one without the brass centerpiece.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wir sehen uns schon als
We see ourselves as sort of a game changer here for the hotel industry in Doha and Qatar. And of course, we want to lead the way.
Federführend sein. I'm thinking 4 bath towels will really be a challenge. Because you can put maximum 1 over here.
We can put 2 if we decide not to roll them.
But to fold instead.
But to fold them, I mean, roll is maybe not the best solution here. Either on top of each other.
It looks a bit like an elephant on a bicycle, right?
We can fold it smaller.
I think this can look much better.
Yeah, because it's more...
It will be higher, of course, but you can now fit a second one on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each suite comes with a butler who'll be available 24/7, offering top-notch and discreet service.
Let's say they put the Do Not Disturb sign on, but as butlers we know we have to deliver their laundry at 10 a.m. because he requested at 10 a.m. What do? From the other side, we just put the laundry here, place the laundry here, we write a handwritten note from their butler, put it under the door, and that's it. Or let's say guest doesn't want to see anyone, okay? They just want to leave their request here, press volley button. We will have a ticket in our system and we will know that room 10007 has something in their valet cabinet and we need to take care of it.
Those who pay upwards of 1,500 euros a night for a suite will expect the highest levels of discretion from the service team. Simply rushing into the suite is not an option.
Butler service. Butler service. Then I open carefully. I check the room. The guest is sleeping.
See, this is a bit awkward here. Look, they have the wireless charger covered by the telephone.
I think, Ben, first of all, I think this needs to be shifted. They will have to move it.
The charger here is supposed to be either more in the front or... Man geht ins Zimmer, man arbeitet mit
You go into the room and you work with what you have. You identify the problems or the challenges, and then you either have to work around them or overcome the challenge.
Die Herausforderung aus dem Weg schaffen.
We want to raise the bar very high, so we really want to go into those details technically.
Die größte Herausforderung ist
The biggest challenge involves looking at all the preparations we're taking here and to be able to implement them across all the suites, setting them up piece by piece to get them ready for our guests' arrival.
The logistical effort is gigantic. Dirk Haltenhof and his team ordered hundreds of thousands of items just for furnishing all the kitchens and restaurants. Just because they placed all the orders over a year ago doesn't mean that they have received everything.
Some items will only arrive later, so we'll just have to get to work with what's already here. There are bottlenecks everywhere, so material supplies are scarce all around the world, and that's why they're difficult to get a hold of at the moment.
New deliveries arrive by the pallet for the kitchens and restaurants every single day. Since the 330 service employees can't do their training inside the restaurants yet, they've been instructed to check the deliveries.
I saw the blacks in here, but I didn't. It was not much, like here.
Piece by piece, each item must be checked for its 6-star quality, even the cloth napkins.
We have 4 or 5. Wait, there's 5. Damage is here.
Damage here?
Yeah.
Anything that is not 100% perfect goes back to the supplier.
Only 5 damaged? All right.
More pallets carrying the urgently needed kitchen equipment arrived today.
There are 120 different items that came today. There are pots and pans.
Super.
Great, then we can make a start.
Oh,
Wow, this is top of the range. Look here. Smeg.
Here we go.
Do you know how long I've looked for this? Top of the range. For example, you wouldn't use this pot or pan in a normal kitchen. At L'artisan, the kitchen doesn't have a view of the sea, the restaurant has a view of the kitchen. And so there we need stylish equipment.
Things aren't quite as stylish at the employee canteen. The food still gets delivered, but at least the paper plates and plastic tableware of the last few weeks can finally be replaced with real dishes and cutlery. It's a small glimmer of hope as the day of the grand opening draws closer. The 2 towers are connected by a huge ballroom. Katara Hall, comprising 3,500 square meters, is Doha's largest. A major event is scheduled to take place here in 80 days, but there are hardly any workers to be seen.
Yes, today is Friday, and we have the day off on Fridays, like I would do on Sundays in Germany. There are very few workers here on the construction site who keep an eye on things.
On normal days, 8,000 staff work around the clock to complete the hotels and Katara Hall, with its 16-meter-tall and 35-ton giant gates.
Tensions are running high and the pressure is clearly being felt by all, but we're looking forward to the grand opening.
The team has just 80 days to transform this construction site into 2 luxury hotels. 2 months later, and the mega project in Doha has transformed. Cleaning brigades are cleaning the 2 hotels from top to bottom, and training in the restaurants has finally begun. 10 days to correct even the smallest mistakes that could jeopardize the grand opening. Some of the employees are staying at the hotels on a trial basis to identify possible weaknesses.
You're on the way, Christian.
All right, good morning, everyone. Honey, you want to start?
Yes, absolutely. We are expecting 63 arrival. This is the highest so far, and 50 departure. We'll be having a guest in-house, around 121 guest rooms occupied.
While the management teams of both hotels try to solve all small and big problems before the grand opening, work is underway day and night in the belly of this mega hotel. The employees still don't have their uniforms, and supplies for the kitchens are still missing. Now they need to make up for lost time and achieve the standard they have set for themselves as absolute luxury hotels on the Arabian Gulf. Hundreds of trucks deliver the provisions. Dirk Haltenhof and André Kaiser, the head chef of the Fairmont Hotel, can finally draw on the unlimited supplies while checking the deliveries.
We're normally not here every day to check everything personally. We have our specialists for that. But we're always there initially to say, all right, that's okay, but that should go back.
With the avocados, the important thing is that they're not too soft like this one. This one has a small dent here, that's no good. That won't do.
While most other luxury hotels in the Gulf import nearly 100% of their food, Haltenhof also relies on local produce.
We went to 2 different farms during an agricultural exhibition. We found out that there are 12, 13 farms next to each other, and they're huge. They're so big that they actually grow fruit and vegetables all year round. I didn't know all that before. I'd already been in Dubai for a few years, but I was very surprised to learn that we actually have fruit and vegetables in all colors and in all shapes and sizes.
Fruit and vegetables for the Raffles and Fairmont hotels are delivered here centrally. A cutting-edge wash station, based on Japanese technology, is used to process them. Everything needs to be germ-free before it can go to the various kitchens.
It doesn't really save a lot of water, but it saves on chemicals because we use it in a really sustainable way. No chemicals. The only thing that goes into it is sodium chloride, which is then mixed with water and run through the machine here, where the electrical charge splits it into base and lye. And then the pre-washed produce goes into the lye, and then it's disinfected.
Culinary director Dirk Haltenhof's job now is to go over every dish and presentation with his head chefs for the various departments. This also applies to the products from the huge bakery and pastry shop, located inside the belly of the hotel tower. Elaborate sweet works of art can be created here using the latest laser technology. Chef Michel Prété and his team are supposed to present their ideas for the grand opening today. All VIP guests will receive a sweet surprise in their room as a welcome. Now, the management needs to decide which one.
No discussion. Need 5 extra. We do it. You take it. You put in the room.
Because we don't have the same item.
You find it. If we don't have, you coordinate with your manager. Yes?
Good, just different.
Hey, Goshi, no discussion. Stop. No take. We need to go in the room. We need the MD presentation. They will do it. Hello? They will do it. It's fine. Supriya, need to be the same, huh? Okay. We have 2 minutes to display 7 more.
He and his team will only be able to start with the actual production once the VIP gifts have been chosen by the hotel's management. And that just 10 days before the grand opening.
We have the MD presentation, so the manager director in 1 minute, and we are not ready. So
Suddenly, a fire alarm goes off.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? A fire emergency has been reported in the building. Please leave the building from the nearest fire exit. Do not use the elevators.
Thank goodness, this is only one of the daily drills. All 1,130 employees need to leave the building immediately, and the work is once again abandoned, at least for the time being. Christian Hirth checks that all employees have gathered at the designated points.
It took 7 or 8 minutes. The staff went to 3 different assembly points, and everything went well. The safety of our guests and of our staff is, of course, our highest priority. And that's why we do these drills at regular intervals, and especially before the grand opening, before guests even enter the hotel. We practice and practice and practice until everything is just perfect.
After the alarm drill, the culinary director makes his way to the VIP lounge of the Fairmont Hotel. In the future, guests of the most expensive room categories and suites will be allowed in here. Breakfast, snacks, champagne, and cocktails included. Just a few days ago, the crew took over the lounge and started training. The kitchen is also facing its first challenges. Dirk Haltenhof and the Fairmont's head chef, André Kaiser, came up with the concept. Now, the breakfast service is being rehearsed for the first time. Feedback for the lounge manager.
For example, you see this is just for this we cannot send to a guest. Because here you see your little backdrops, it should be the other way around, not going against the curve. And these are things that we do at the beginning, a couple of mistakes, but it's good that we know. So if somebody is trying to serve you this kind of an egg, the team should say, hey, by the way, I have to do one more time. But do me a favor, just ask them to play that once again, so we don't even start with the wrong egg.
Yeah. They have to get into the routine. That means every day 10, 20, 100 times. And when the third time comes around, then it becomes routine for them, and we get the autopilot working. That means we can then build on the sensational guest experience for which we're actually aiming. That means we need to get the routine right first. As is the case with everything, practice makes perfect.
Okay, so here we go. So that looks a bit more ergonomic, and we're good to go.
Until the grand opening, the hotel employees, friends and relatives act as guests to give the crew the practice they need.
4 pieces of peri-peri mango puchka, 1 portion of salmon bale, and 4 pieces of goat cheese kebab. This is the first course. And the second course, 1 portion of hand-pulled butter chicken, 1 portion of kundan kalia lamb shank, 1 chicken biryani, 4 bowl of dal makhani, and assorted bread basket. Thank you.
Masala Library is supposed to become the best Indian restaurant in Doha. To this end, Dirk Huttenhof has poached his former colleague Sanish from Dubai. This restaurant has also only been training for a few days. Restaurant manager Ray Lawrence has a difficult task ahead of him with his multicultural team.
So we have 2 team members from Morocco and 2 from Africa. So they're the first time to work in the Indian restaurant, and some of them, they don't even know anything about Indian food. They haven't even tried Indian food, especially one girl, she's allergic to spices and spicy. So that's one of the challenge I would say at the moment. But for the last 5 months, I'm working with them. They really did a great job. So if you go and ask them, they're as good as my Indian team members. So I'm very proud of the way they are moving forward.
Along with it, there is a makhani gravy espuma, which is basically a base of tomato gravy, and it has a cream and butter, so it's very rich in a flavor.
Okay.
Yes, please enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Sorry. Plus, as we talked about earlier, so we need to explain the guests how they have to mix the butter chicken. So what you have to do to give it a good mix before you enjoy. So, you get a good mix. So it mixes the gravy. Then, so I do for you. So the next one you can do by yourself to have some fun. So there you go.
Chef Sanish is stepping up the pace in the kitchen. More and more trial guests arrive at the restaurant every day. There's a stress test before the grand opening to push everyone on the team to the limit. They're running out of time.
We are still fixing the areas, where to come what and how exactly the operation moves, and easier flow, the workflow, how it's going to happen. So we are still fixing. It will take maybe another, couple of more weeks for us to settle down completely. We know a proper way and how exactly we need to go, the proper flow of operation, everything come in place. And once that in place, then it's smooth.
Instead of weeks, there are only a few days left to get the Indian restaurant up and running. The service staff have to work with an ever-increasing number of guests every day.
So the jigar tanda has inside the ice cream, so it has syrup again, and it has malai inside.
Are they sharing the dish or is it individual?
Yes, you can share the dish. There is no problem.
So
can you get the small plate?
So get them a sharing plate first, then the spoon as well for them to share. Okay. So next time when we bring the dessert, we first bring the plates for sharing, then they bring the dish and the cutleries. If they're individual, is okay. We come, we drop individual, they enjoy. No problem.
Sometimes you feel like you're scared, they don't know anything, but for sure you have someone who is here for you. He's on our shoulder. We can tell everything we want. So he makes sure that we go together, we grow together with others. So it gives us this power and this confidence to do this.
Many of the employees have never worked in a luxury hotel with its special demands and fail at the simplest of things.
For sharing, what we do, Palash? Plates. Okay, we do not pick up the dessert if you don't have a sharing plate. So please ensure sharing plates on the table.
There will be a lot of feedback for the crew at the Indian restaurant before the grand opening. At least one problem has been solved. The uniforms for the staff at the 2 luxury hotels have finally arrived. English star designer Nicholas Oakwell has been designing them over the last 12 months.
It's a challenge, but it makes you think clever as a designer, because you really have to think. You can't just design what you want. It's operational, they've got things to do, it's the style of the hotel, it has its own DNA, you really have to understand the DNA. And then you go into all the different restaurants, different outlets, they all need to have their own identity within the whole body of its own self. And sometimes the restaurants need to have their own identity completely different from the hotel. So sometimes you turn up and you go, where am I now? I didn't realize this in the hotel.
All the uniforms for the various areas will be unveiled for the first time today during a major fashion show.
For me, it's the audience is the team, the people are all wearing it. So it's important that they're happy. You know, designing for 1,200 odd people is the pressure. You know, can you make everyone happy? No. You know, but then when we talk to them and then they understand, yes, I understand I'm part of, you know, the DNA, the style of the hotel, so they understand it. Maybe sometimes not a personal style, but a lot of them are loving what they're wearing. I mean, they're really enjoying it.
And so, hotel employees from 73 nations are transformed into models on the catwalk. Every department, every restaurant, every cafe and service area is getting customized uniforms. In the next few days leading up to the grand opening, they will be fitted to all employees and then delivered. – 7 a.m. Marie-Pierre Girardot welcomes the housekeeping team to the morning shift.
Good morning. Good morning. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you? Excellent. Excellent. That's fantastic. We never say no. Never. We find an alternative, right? So if a guest asks you something, which if you think quickly, you cannot do. For example, Radha, yes, I didn't sleep well in my bed. I don't like this big king bed. I'm not going to say, no, sir. Your room has a king bed. I can only do a king. What can we tell the guest?
We have two ideas. We can make a Hollywood twin bed. Example, first one. The second one, we can change for the twin bed as well. Very good. We start deep cleaning, one first deep cleaning, then a second one, then a third one. Then we start setting up all the design OSNE. But even during the deep cleaning, we always talk about the service, about the standards, about how we should do. Even if we have no guests, we consider our employee like internal guests, so we can play a role and we can not only deep clean and get ready, but get to speed with the service standards.
The first rooms can now be prepared for the real guests. After weeks of training, room service finally gets to work.
Be it vacant or be it occupied, we encourage all the team members to do all the process of entering the guest room, which they have to knock it they have to ring the bell 3 times. Housekeeping! With an interval of 10 seconds, and which she's doing it. And then she have a gadget, which is Nuvola, saying that this is an occupied room, and supervisors can locate where it's exactly she's doing. And the Nuvola tracks us in all the things with how much time is spent even inside the room.
Modern digital work control for the hotel's 330 housekeeping employees. The times are specified precisely, and there's a list of items to be checked and cleaned in each room. Each team member has to manage 6 of them per day. The maximum time they can spend doing so is 1 hour. In a few days' time, the employees will work alone in the rooms. Until then, the instructors oversee their work. There are different colored washcloths for each area.
After scrubbing, I need to wipe with this so that it can be clean. And also, once I use it when it's wet, the green one when it's wet, I just also use the yellow one to dry it.
Time is money, State-of-the-art technology is used here in Doha to make the strenuous task of making beds easier and more efficient for the employees, like a bed lift.
As per the height of the team member, we can move up and down. So it's if a team member is very short, we can reduce the height a bit. It takes approximately 8 to 10 minutes to make a bed like this, but with the the fixed wet, it takes approximately 6 minutes to make the bed.
The extremely thick duvets weigh about 3 kilos. Pillows and blankets are filled with feathers. The bed linen is made from the finest cotton. In the bathroom next door, the final check.
I don't understand why, because we have completed this part, but you keep going here and wiping it over and over again.
So the least some dust was going here by the time I was cleaning this tray.
That should not be the case then.
Yeah.
There are special hygiene rules for the restroom area, and not just as a result of COVID-19.
It's because we considered WC area or the water closet area to be one of the most contaminated area in the room. That is the reason that all the dusters, whatever we use, we put it as red color coded, and then we keep it separately also, always farthest from even from the rest of the other 3 colors which we are using.
Unlike in Germany, there are no brushes next to the toilet at this luxury hotel in Doha. Using them is considered unhygienic in Arab countries.
We can have it in all, if the guests refer to it, or else because we are servicing it right from the morning and even in the evening. So there is no point of the guest skipping it, unless if the guest would like to have it, we are providing at the same time.
Mary comes from Ghana, and this is her first time working at a luxury hotel. She also worked in a hotel back in her home country.
There's something I already know, because before I've been working in housekeeping also. No, it was 3 stars. There is a lot of difference.
55 minutes later, and the room is made. In the evening, she will come back and prepare everything for the night. On the other side, at the 6-star Raffles Hotel, all of the more than 100 suites are ready for occupancy. Hotel manager Bernd Kneier gives it a final check, together with housekeeping chief Marie-Pierre. The first guests are due to arrive this evening.
Okay, but I think the fruit basket could definitely use
Need to be changed.
a bit of a touch-up.
Yes.
I think what missing here, what you said earlier, is correct. A second set of cutlery,
Yeah, and
the napkins, and we can definitely place the welcome card probably in here, leaning on the fruit basket.
Or even flat.
No detail escapes the attention of these 2 hotel professionals. Each of the suites has its own round-the-clock butler service and is furnished using the finest materials. But the bathroom is not yet perfect.
It does look a bit odd, to be very honest with you, because you have 3 different kind of towels, 2 short ones here and 2 different ones here.
Or if we want to be a little bit more, we could also do that.
I like it better.
Yes.
I like it better.
Yes, because you notice the 2 travelers fan.
Yeah. There's a little bit of symmetry, not symmetry, but balance there. And are we all set with the amenities inside our beautiful golden box?
So the amenities, we have our airbrush. We managed to put the 2 toothbrush. So we can put them like this, or we can put them like this.
I think the bottom can stay flat, and I think this one sits on top of it.
Raffles in Doha is this German hotel manager's first job as managing director. The goal is to become the best luxury hotel on the Gulf.
Yes, I'm very satisfied. There's a real selection here. This is pure luxury. You don't find that in many hotels.
But now I can see that the upright telephone gives a bit more space for the charger.
However, we're still covering a little bit our
wireless charger.
But it's visible for a guest. If I am the guest, I will just shift it.
Correct.
We just place it in the middle, and then I teach them the diagonal, and we put the clock in the diagonal.
Okay. But don't you think we should maybe take at least one of those items and move it to the other side? Because here we have 1, 2, 3 items, and over there we have only one item.
Yes, but...
See the clock? So square goes to square, and round goes to round over there. It's just an idea.
So in this case, we can put it like this, or we can... Here maybe a bit dangerous, because...
I would keep it on the gold, angle it towards the bed, so... This looks very nice, actually.
The 3 first months, it's all about the statistic, what are the things that maybe we have not thought about it because we could have missed something, and or the placement of things which is maybe not obvious for the guest. Maybe this hairdryer on the shelf, it's too heavy for somebody to take it. So we will have to make some adjustments.
Many things are not standardized in the luxury hotel industry. That means that you always try to adapt to everything to suit the guest. The setup in the bathroom, the dishes that are placed in the room as amenities. Even the ensuite boutique, which used to be our conventional minibar, will be stocked with things that we know the guests will like, whether it's vegan products or healthy things or extra sweet things. So there are always things that you have to look at and say, all right, we have to do a bit more work here.
Less than 2 months ago, this suite was still a construction site. You could hardly find more luxury in a hotel suite elsewhere in the world. Of course, this all comes at a price. If you want to move into one of the 123 luxury suites at Raffles in Doha, you'll have to pay at least 1,500 euros a night. The L'Artisan restaurant is also part of the hotel. Here, the food is cooked at Michelin star level. The right service is provided by Cem Aksahin from Turkey, the food and beverage manager. This includes final touches for the service crew, such as ironing the tablecloths.
Nadia, could you please set up the table?
For 4.
For 4 people, yes. And we always try to hold from the bottom, not to leave any fingerprints on the cutlery. So as you see, the cutlery is not on the correct positioning. If you look at from that angle, if you go across, please cross me. The cutlery looks on that angle. So while we do the setup, as I said, if we take the centerpiece of the chair, we just need to correct. If you've seen, that has to follow as it is. And now we have the water glass, and then we have the wine glass.
Precise work inside the luxury restaurant. In a few hours, the first VIP guests will arrive here for dinner. No time to make mistakes anymore.
Now we completed the setup. I would like to Ilham and Umayma, could you please have a look?
Yes.
And let me know your thoughts.
It looks amazing. Yes.
Thank you very much. Good job, Nadia.
Thank you.
Today's head chef is explaining the specialties on the menu of the day to the service team. If a guest asks, they have to know exactly what they're serving. It's the final test run with employees acting as guests at the luxury restaurant. The head chef is Thierry, who instructs the other chefs using only hand signals. The restaurant chef explains that they practice silence as a concept.
Only the chef talk to the past. Today is Melike's turn. The thing is, we don't want it to be a very noisy place. We have very classy chefs, classy people, luxury. So why do we need to shout and make so much drama?
This is 33, okay?
Yes, chef. Thank you.
The food leaves the kitchen almost silently. There are still small issues with the service, which the boss notices immediately. This is not acceptable for a luxury restaurant.
We just need to make sure. This is the pass. It has to look really professional, okay?
Absolutely.
This is unprofessional. This has to be out. If you want to put tablecloth to avoid the voice and noise, this has to be clean cut. We cannot put 3 trays in one jig. Can you please ask them to keep only one?
Only one, absolutely.
And chair is missing here. We need to add another chair. At the moment, of course, I like to be honest. I don't want to say we are doing 100% at the moment, which is not correct. We are pushing trainings and make it happen. Compared to our hotel standards, I think we are around 60 to 70%. At the moment, we are not busy, right? So we have total 6-7 tables.
Yes.
We are more than the guests, but can you please make sure that we don't keep these trays, clearing trays in the restaurant? We just need to remove this, and whatever we clear up, it has to go directly to the stewarding area.
Sure.
Thank you. This is the first showcase when the guests enter, right? You see how many fingerprints, and we cleaned up with the wrong material. Bar team needs to take care of the bar. It's like a jewelry showcase. We need to make sure before service starts, it has to be cleaned up and polished with the correct materials, please. Thank you. Pressure is very high, but as a professionals, we cannot complain that we don't have enough times to train the team. We will open these doors. We have a beautiful team. We trust them. We train them. Of course, we will fail in some areas, but for me, it's not the end of the world. Everyone makes mistakes, and I always tell them, most important thing in hospitality, if we serve one time a wrong coffee when you are in the Raffles Hotel, it shouldn't happen again, right? And we should know our fault, fix the area, and we move forward. Then we open the door for the real guests, and they will know what has happened before, and I don't think anyone will repeat it.
Another highlight is finally completed just before the grand opening. One of the largest kaleidoscopes in the world inside the lobby of the new Raffles Hotel. Dr. Al-Khuzama Al-Harami is a Qatari and is managing this multimedia project.
So we wanted to give you an immersive experience of looking through a real-life kaleidoscope. So when you're standing here, we're working with different artists to give different experiences. For example, we're working with a digital artist to build a Milky Way design. So it's like you're looking into the galaxy. We're working with a different artist to do a 24-hour simulation of the sky. So as you're sitting here throughout the day, you will see the sky color changes, clouds moving, the moon coming out. It's absolutely impressive.
The Fairmont Hotel next door is also getting ready for its first guests. In a few days' time, both hotels will be fully booked from the grand opening on. Now, the 2 bars on the upper floors are also being put into operation, with some final preparations for the grand opening in a few days. At the Asian restaurant Provogue, Dirk Haltenhof is about to open the last of his 18 restaurants after months of work.
This is grade 5.
As much as we can. It's melting in your mouth, actually.
Looking forward. Very exciting, huh?
Smacking.
Thank you for making it happen. I'm very happy that we came that far.
How many billion euros have been poured into the new mega hotel in Doha remains a Qatari secret. There's no doubt that it'll be the Emirates' new landmark on the Gulf. A 2-year journey is now coming to an end for Christian Hirth and his team. The first VIP guests arrive today.
Hi, Bernd.
Hello, Christian. Shall we take a look at the suite upstairs?
Let's go.
Okay. Let's do it.
So everything's ready. Since 7 this morning, we've really had a lot of people in here. Housekeeping has really done a top job here in the last 5 hours. The balcony has been a lot of work, of course.
Yeah?
The florists were already here at 5 a.m. this morning and had everything ready by 7 a.m. And we put in the amenities an hour ago, so that they're nice and fresh before the guest arrives.
Great.
It's quite windy today.
Yeah.
The plants already make a difference. The carpet fits in really well here, I think.
Super.
Great. Nice view of the stadium. Yeah, we can now check one of the biggest suites before our first arrival, and this is a very special moment. This is the moment we have been working towards for the last 18 months. And yeah, this is a very special moment for us.
10 years of construction time for a hotel project of superlatives. A 6-star and a 5-star luxury hotel under one roof. From now on, 1,130 people from 73 nations will look after the well-being of well-heeled guests from all over the world and give them an authentic Arabian Nights experience here in Qatar.